We're going to confirm, verify the pinion angle is set right, and if it isn't, going to adjust it. First step to do is we're going to disconnect the drive shaft at the differential. And basically we just need to get two measurements. I need to find the angle of the engine's downslope. I'm going to do that off of the crank the balancer that's mounted to the crank, and then whenever I have the drive shaft taken off, basically just going to take that same measurement on the pinion, and those measurements need to be equal but opposite, parallel. So meaning, I'm going to take the angle of what the balancer is at, and then compare it to the angle at the pinion. They're supposed to be parallel. So say I come over here and I see that the engine is downsloped -2 degrees. Well, the pinion needs to be upsloped +2 degrees, which would make them parallel. Basically, like if this is the engine angle, then the pinion angle needs to be like that, right? They're equal but opposite and parallel. All right. All right, we're going to use two different kind of measuring devices here. One, angle finder, tried and true, classic. You know, that's what this thing's meant to do. But also, we're going to check the iPhone out because it has a level that tells you in degrees. So, yeah, I think we'll try this out. See how that thing goes. All right, I'll put the results, I'll overlay them over on the screen. But looks like we have, it looks to me that it's sloping downward 5 degrees per the angle finder. And then per the iPhone angle says sloping 4 degrees. I mean, well, I measured by the same thing. So they're both sloping downward. Results are in. And it looks to me that we're still getting a consistent reading where the angle finder is 1 degree further than how the iPhone measures. For the most part, it looks like the angle finder said that it is 7 degrees sloping upward, and this is saying that it is 6 degrees sloping upward. All right, in order to unbolt the upper links to the 4-link suspension that we got, we're going to need 3/4 inch wrench. I already have my ratchet, so there's a 3/4 inch socket. And basically, we're going to unbolt the adjustable side of the, oh, you know what, actually, I also need an adjustable wrench to undo the lock nut. So undo the lock nut, unbolt one link at a time. Go ahead and give it a couple turns, measure to make sure the adjustment is correct, and then we just tighten everything back up. All right, so I'm gonna take off this big old honkin' All right. So this slides right off, drama free. Okay. So when that comes off, then, oh, this pops down. All right. So here's what we need to do. This needs to be shorter. We need to shorten the length of this so that it pulls the top toward the front, therefore dipping the pinion down. That's what we've got to do. So so basically we're going to go 1, 2, 3 rotations of the eyelet. That's what we're going to do. You know what? Actually 2. We're going to do 2. I'll put that back. We're only going to do 2 rotations of the eyelet. We're going to put this guy back inside. Oh, and then that is going to be our adjustment. We're going to make that adjustment, bolt this back up, and remeasure. That'll be our task. So we went 2 turns tighter for our adjustment to lower the pinion angle. So remember, this was at 6, so let's go ahead and throw this guy up here again. So it looks like we got 4 degrees. As I will undo it again, we're going to go two turns more, and that should put it right at 3 degrees, teeter-tottering into 4 degrees. So it lands at that like 3.5 degrees of resting. Some more adjustments. We are right at that 3, and you see we're balancing balance between 3, 4. So yeah, looks like time to tighten up, and then we'll get this car set back on the ground. Pinion angle has now been set to a more appropriate angle. We have it pretty much close to parallel, but we have it slightly less than slightly less than parallel to the engine. So engine was sloping downwards 4 degrees. We're at like 3.5 degrees sloping up from the pinion, and it's that's going to be really good because whenever the car's under load, it's going to twist it up just a little bit. I know that rear suspension doesn't allow for very much movement, so it should be right on the money when the car's under load and it's accelerating, and it causes less of that imbalance and wobble that symptom of that issue was causing. And then now I'll be able to kind of see out my rearview mirror and actually tell what's behind me on the highway. So ride height's changed, pinion angle set. I think the last thing to do is go ahead and see if I can't fix that exhaust leak, because I think it's just maybe unbolt the headers and maybe rebolt and bolt them up again at probably a more proper sequence, because I think that might have been it. I think I just didn't follow the right sequence for torquing and tightening down that thing, and maybe for somehow it's bowed somewhere where under pressure it allows some to leak out. But we'll cross that bridge when we go to attack that issue. As well as that tensioner pulley. I have it on the way. It wasn't really that much. I think it was like 50 bucks. So as soon as the tensioner pulley comes in, I'll go ahead and swap it out, and that way we can get rid of that god-awful squealing noise. So I appreciate you watching. Hit the like, comment below, and if you're new here, go ahead and think about subscribing. I will see y'all in the next one.